And we're live. The very,
Yes,
very, very first episode of Entrepreneur's Life. I'm here with Akie. How you doing, man?
doing great, brother. We're really good to be the first on your new show, bro. So very looking forward and congrats in advance,
Thank you so much. It's a really a great pleasure to have you on here. And I think you're actually a perfect first guest for what we're doing here. So, just in case you're tuning into this and you have no idea what's going on, who are these two kids here? Well, kids, yeah.
with
40-year-old
wrinkles.
kids. Yeah. Those beauty creams I've been buying. I don't know what's happening. Anyways, so this here is what we call Entrepreneur's Life. I know, very creative with the name. What happens is it's a daily life video podcast. I think it's the first one. Yeah, we're crazy that has ever been running like this. So every single day, we're gonna bring on people like Aki here. And why is Aki a perfect guest? Because it shows the power of human connections. Aki, you still remember when we met?
Bro, actually, I was just thinking about it like 15, 20 minutes ago before we get in, before the episode, before the show, obviously. Like, oh man, the first time we met was in Berlin on the comments floor of a Fit World. And we bumped into each other very randomly. Like, it just had to be like this. It was probably like the frequency we're on. And I think we were talking for over half an hour, 45 minutes. And we're both like, I really need to go to a meeting, but I really love the conversation. And we kept on continuing to talk. And then we're like, okay, we need to save this conversation for a different time. And it was the first time, the first talks of many, and the first deep talks of many.
Absolutely. And it was so fascinating because literally we were walking like from different sides of this of the floor, right? Like a massive hall with like a lot of like booths and people and vibrant like it was just a lot going on, right? And two guys who don't know each other, like walking from different sides of the room and just bumping into each other. And then I think we stood there for like, I don't know, 20 minutes, whatever. And
First, yeah, and I remember like we kept on saying, oh, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta. What's happening here?
so now we're what, like 7, 8 years later? I don't exactly know, right?
Something like this. Yeah, yeah.
Something like this. So two guys randomly bumping into each other at a random place, right? And obviously we have some common interests. That's why we were at the same place at the same time. But then we just hit it off with a conversation. And now, I mean, how often do we meet each other? If it's once a year, it's actually a lot, right?
We were
But
happy if it's once a year. It's just like once or twice at least lately. Obviously, COVID and other things behind after, but it's at least a couple conferences that we bump into each other. And I remember we saw each other also in Austria once. When we have the chance, we definitely put in the effort to see each other. And it's one of the beautiful things I think about friendship and meeting people, awesome people like you along the way.
thank you very much. Absolutely. I actually spent some really great days at an Austrian lake with Akia, like just walking, hiking, talking about life in general. And that's what we want to do here as well, but not just life in general, but specifically entrepreneurship, right? So both Akia and myself have been entrepreneurs, I guess, most of our lives, right? So let me quickly explain the format here. So what we're going to do here is a very brief, fast-paced video podcast, right? We'll aim at 20 minutes, right? And I have a lot of questions. So I'll just shoot my questions your way and you get right into it, right? So let's share as
Perfect.
much as we can with our audience. All right. So
Awesome.
let me ask my first question here to Aki. So, what does it actually mean to you to be an entrepreneur?
For me, it's a sense of freedom and giving and doing things able or to provide things and connections, knowledge to people that don't have access to it. So for me, it's always been a case where I'm always trying to provide for the people. So my whole idea of everything what I do is purely focused on how can I make situations or people's lives better. Is it connection? Is it access in terms of knowledge, money, whatever, or even like people, right? One of the things, obviously, that it's one of the reasons why I still keep doing events. The events has always been for me a source of meeting people, myself, and also providing a place for people to meet other good people. So entrepreneurship is definitely like freedom, man, joy, like the amount of cool, awesome people that I meet, like you, and other people along the way, even people that I work with or have happened to work with that have made my life better or were able to change my way of thinking from a different perspective. So entrepreneurship is not a money thing. I think a lot of people are mistaking I want to be an entrepreneur before the money. No, it gives you access to more money or faster money. But faster or more is not always the best way, right? It's not always the case. I think you should always go to why, at least why I started being an entrepreneur is I wanted to do what I felt I had to do or wanted to do. And I didn't find a company that I could express all my feelings about what I wanted to do or characteristics or my knowledge or whatever I want to do. And that's when I became an entrepreneur actually at the age of 17 already. So I remember registering. My mom had to register the company because I wasn't 18, and I was also in events back then, and I was working for an event company, and they were also not doing exactly what I wanted, how I thought the event should be. So I think entrepreneurship is this. That's the start for most people. You see that something else can be different, and it can be done better, and you attract the people or the network that you have or the knowledge or whatever you want to change. You create the perfect product. Let's so say.
I love that. And this is exactly why I wanted to have you on the show early on, because this is a no guru, no bullshit place, right?
Yeah, correct.
This is not your random TikTok channel where you find like the top 3 hacks to make $1 million next month, right? This is the real thing. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they actually feel an urge of creating something themselves, and this seems to have been the case for you as well. So that's awesome. Let's dive a little bit about the into let's dive a little bit into the successes that you've had, coming from that path. What do you think would be your biggest entrepreneurial success over the last 10, 20 years?
Good question. I don't think it's necessarily one thing. I think the biggest success for me is really growing my network. I've made a lot of money. I lost tons of money, even last year. Wrong investments, wrong decisions. So it's always ups and downs, right? And I think the money factor is not the biggest success. The biggest success for me is also not, has not only been one venture because I would say definitely okay. The most stable or the longest business I'm running currently is Affiliate Business Club, like in affiliate marketing and events. What we're doing, and it's because it's been up and running now for almost 7 years, or a little bit more than 7 years now. And in terms of success, I would say this yes, but how do you measure success for? It's super hard because for me personally, I've met so many people. I've been able to travel the whole world, go to places I would never go to. So for me personally, that's my biggest success. If you look at from a money point of view, I've had investments which were 10, 20x, even let's say a shitcoin. But is that success? No, because success is, I think, a whole learning curve. How you roll from one thing into the other. And I always tell people, for me, success and wisdom is people thinking of me. Hey, Aki, I have an opportunity. I get approached a lot of times lately, especially in the last couple of months. Even like a couple months ago, someone's like, "Hey, Aki, I'm building a place in Bali. Do you want to invest?" I'm like, "It's crazy because I was just looking at a place in Bali to buy something." But the fact that someone's thinking of me, I'm super happy. For me, that's success. Someone's thinking, they're loving me, they're talking good behind my back, they're naming my names in conversations or somewhere. I think this is like success, which you cannot see, right? Because in the end, it's like a money thing is super easy to see. And I don't drive a fancy car. I don't wear fancy watches. I have a nice watch, but barely wear it actually because it's not a for me. That's not a factor of success, and I prefer to not show it. I prefer to be like more low key. Be like, hey, guys, this is who I am, with or without money. I've been the same person. I've been kind to the same people with €0 in my bank or 100 grand or more. It doesn't matter, right? It's more like how do you treat people. That's ultimate success for me. And I've had many conversations with people that always be nice to me because I've been nice to account managers who became directors, right? Or owners of companies, or even football players that were super young and no one believed in them. Now they're superstars and they're friends. Like this little thing, what you help people, you help them leave their worth, and that's in my opinion being successful because that's how you grow eventually.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's I think that's fascinating. That's a great answer. And actually it's a perfect lead into something I want to talk with you about, which is your Nile River project. So
Okay.
I meet a lot of different entrepreneurs, right? And I'm also in touch with a lot of impact investors or sustainability entrepreneurs, people who, for whatever reason, not only work for the money, they also work for a cause. But those people in general are not like, they're not as visible, right? We tend to look up to or acknowledge the people who make a shitload of money, right? And I'm not saying this is wrong. uh, I do appreciate though if somebody looks beyond that. So tell us about the Nile River project and why is that something an entrepreneur has to tackle?
Um, Very good question. Let me just start off with how I came up with the idea because I'm Egyptian, you know it. So for the audience, like I am, yeah, serial entrepreneur working in events tech and now social impact. And the reason why is last year I was walking with my dad past the Nile River, and he just said one simple phrase. And it's actually very good that you say because I think from entrepreneur point of view, you're like, hey, um, how can we make this better? Because my dad was like, hey, can you imagine I was swimming here as a little kid 50, 60 years ago, and I was just looking at the dirt. You could smell the shit, the pee. You could even like you see everything floating. Like everyone knows the smell of fucking dirt. You know, it's my language, but everyone knows this, right? So, and I was just like, I can't imagine. And it's not like he was crying, but I could see the pain in his eyes. Like, man, everything used to be better back in days. And you know, older people always say everything used to be better back in the days, but this time it really hit me because it was visible. I was like, damn, that's crazy. It's like if someone used to swim here, it was green, and I was picturing this beautiful. He was like swimming in like a little lake where you could swim to an island, like a little island on the Nile River in Cairo, and I was just like, damn, it used to be better. And then I told him, you know what, Dad, I have a small team in Egypt. He knows, but I didn't tell him. Like, so I said to myself, I have a small team in Egypt. Let's try and clean this part. So I just called up one of my main people there. Hey, can we just get some people like fisher boats and try and clean this just surface area? And she was like, it's gonna be really hard. And I'm like, doesn't matter. I get it. It's gonna be hard. It's not easy. I'll pay for the people, even if it's 1K or $100 a day or whatever. Let's just try and clean it. So anyway, within a week we cleaned it. I brought him back and I told my dad. So I did this, like me and my team. It's like, no way. And then what happened? I still didn't have the idea to clean the Nile River. Don't get me wrong. So what happened is this girl from my team was like, "Oh, you know, I will ask my parents where they used to swim. Maybe that's dirty too, and maybe we can clean this too." So I said, "Oh, whoa, that's such a good idea." So we had 8 people helping us from my team, and then we had about another 15 people in total that day of the day project of cleaning the Nile. So we ask everyone, hey, where is it dirty and where ask your parents. And this is when it started growing and growing and growing. Like we cleaned up in total 6 places. And then everyone's like, Aki, you need to do something with this. And I'm like, I'm this guy who can make this work, you know? I'm like, yeah, you know what? So this girl came up, she's like, Aki, there's gonna be COP27 in Sharm el Sheikh, like the World Climate Summit in 2 weeks. Why don't you go there, get some ideas and see what you can do? And then I'm like, I'm talking to people there. I'm talking. Yeah, I have this idea to clean up the Nile River, bro. One thing I run into the other. I bump into. It's a frequency you send out, right? Like what you see in yourself. The frequency is what you believe you can get in the end, right? So I feel like no one's seeing what I'm seeing. No one's on vibrating on the frequency what I'm vibrating, but I believe we can fix it. And there's people, no, man, impossible. I'm like, even if we do one thing, we've succeeded. Even like for me, you were talking about success. Seeing my dad happy that day, bro, that's success. He was so happy, man. I was like, damn, Okay, how many people can we make happy? Like how and how is it possible that we can do it and other people have not thought about it? Corporations. I bump into the CEO of PepsiCo, of Middle East PepsiCo. Hey man, someone's like, hey, that's the CEO of PepsiCo Middle East. You should talk to him. I'm like, no way. Okay, what do I say? You know, I'm like, yeah, this. I'm like, you know what? I'll just go for the conversation. I'll see where it goes. Talk to Forbes Middle East. Talk to some other companies, and everyone knows it's a huge issue. And then I bump into someone from Deloitte, and this person's like, 500 million people they live off the Nile River. I'm like, no fucking way. It's like, yes, man. I said 500 million people. It's like, yeah, if you go all 11 countries, I didn't even know it was going through 11 countries back then. And I'm Egyptian, I'm in Cairo. It's like, yeah, it has 11 countries, Ethiopia, Kenya. I'm like, yeah, I know some countries, but, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to put a website online. Within a day, I have a team. Within a day, we had it up and running, showed it to people. Bro, everyone was like, I know someone, I know someone, I know someone. Bro, we're just talking in, this was all in a space of less than 2 weeks. From the day we started, I started walking with my dad past the Nile River. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I need to set this up. Um, and I need to actually do something because the amount of people wanting this to succeed, talking about success, is insane. So this is how the Now cleanup started, and it all starts with consciousness of the people because you know Arabs are hard, man. Like I'm Arab, but I'm born and raised in The Hague, Amsterdam, so it's different. But if you want to shift and change someone's consciousness level of how they tackle or how they do something, man, the hardest way thing in the world. I've talked to Ministry of Environment, people in the ministry in Egypt, local communities. I traveled from Cairo to Luxor by car and by boat, both places to Aswan and Luxor. Bro, damn hard. They don't
But
know
that's
how to
but that's
tackle
what
issues.
but that's what you do as an entrepreneur, right? And I love that story. Sorry, was just listening to the story, and
Yeah,
I'm like, I think this is how great things get started, right? This is exactly how it gets started. Most people would then just walk away. What I feel an entrepreneur does is he or she chooses a game and then goes all in to make things happen. And everybody has to decide by themselves what does it mean to go all in and how much do they want to push it, right? But making things happen is part of my definition of being an entrepreneur. So I'm super happy to hear that you're working on this. Where do you see this project in like 5 years? What's your vision there?
very good because we've just finished the plan, the outline plan of how we want to tackle, how we think we're going to tackle, because how we think is not going to actually be the way it's going to happen.
Right.
We've already noticed, but in 5 years' time, we actually said like at least from Cairo to Luxor, and we want to. We've already been in talks with some people from Uganda and Kenya, where we're like, hey, if we have at least the countries and communities, most important, backing us and supporting us, that's the most important because the funny thing is actually we're not going to clean up the Nile River, even though it's called the Nile cleanup, right? We want to clean up the Nile River, but there's already a lot of local communities that do something with cleaning up the Nile River, taking the trash out of the water. So what we want to do is actually support these communities and support these organizations, and we want to help prevent it from going into the Nile. That's why I said the consciousness.
Right, got it.
Help with waste management, with
Starting more at the root cause, right?
yes, with building garbage belts, and then when you go from a consciousness point of view, you can go to community, you can tackle city, you can tackle country, and then you can tackle a content
All
point
right,
of view.
cool.
Because without this, it's impossible.
I like that. That's really cool. Well, I'm very much looking forward to follow what's going to happen there. And really best of luck. And obviously, if I can provide any help with that, if I can support that cause in any way, just reach
I'd
out,
love to.
just ping me on WhatsApp. We'll
Sure,
make it happen. And if anybody's watching this now or later on, this channel will grow. So I hope a lot of people will see Aki here on this live show or the short videos later on. So if at any point in time you want to support that cause, I'm sure that Aki will be more than happy to hear from you. Um,
hundred
we
percent.
have pretty much run out of time already,
Damn,
but
super quick.
I have a couple questions still left. Let's maybe take
Yeah.
just one or two, because one of the things everybody who wants to start a company is thinking about is like, what should it actually be? So if somebody could steal a super successful, be it super high impact or $1 million business opportunity, what should they do?
So if they want to start a business, what I think they should start.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm personally really involved in now lately in tech and social impact. So I talked to this one guy, and he said to me, if you want to make $1 billion, you should help try and change billions of lives, because that's the easiest way to make $1 billion. If you have something where you can fix 1 billion people's lives. And the guy who was talking is like he's building a water tap, a cleaning water to clean water from the source before it goes out. Like, my goal is to place this in all third world countries. I'm like, that's brilliant. So it's super hard, but for me, it's like, yeah, the more lives you change, the better. And obviously, hey, Ian. And obviously, the most important thing is,
Sorry, I'm playing with the live features here.
yeah, I see.
Apologies for putting you
I
off
love
track.
being Fernando.
Sorry about that.
But it's more like, and really do try and have an impact. So you don't have need to, if you don't need to have an impact, because now I'm also working with some high level ticket things, and then you have fewer clients for a higher price, and it's also product. So something you can do, but it's more like, what are you really good at? I think that's the most important thing. And what do you love to do? Like, what's your purpose?
One concept that I really like here that falls into this is, I don't know how to pronounce it, the Ikigai. So find stuff, as Aki just mentioned, that you are passionate about, right? You also know a lot of shit about it, but it's also something that people actually request, right? And there's a fourth component. I'm probably screwing it up right now. Just look it up. It's
Ikigai.
GAI.
Yeah.
But in essence, is what Aki just said. Okay. And then you said one way to start something is start like a higher ticket service or product in whatever you know a lot of shit about.
Yeah, because in that sense, Dan Henry, good buddy also, and he's very focused on closing more deals and high ticket items, how you can grow or 10x whatever you're doing right now. And actually, I've implemented some of these things, because he's like, whatever you're doing, and let's say you're offering a service or something for a service is easier in this sense, for 500 euros or $1,000 a month or whatever, right? As an easy example, what can you offer a client to make 10K a month from that client? Well, the easy thing is, like, ask him, how much, like, what do I need to do for you to pay me 10K a month? Or what is the product or I need to develop, or the service you want from me to be able to make 5K a month, let's say. Because let's say you have 10 of these clients, you're making 50 grand a month or 100 grand. I'm not doing it with ABC, but it opened my mind, because now I have two high ticket clients where exactly I'm just asked, like, hey, if I do this for you, would you pay me this amount? I'm like, yeah. So now it's super easy. Now I know, okay, this client's willing me to pay me this amount of money. How can I start outsourcing this? How can I build a team around this to make sure that I'm doing less work, but we are providing as a company enough value for them to pay us this amount of money? Because in the end, like, I've heard this theory from, I think it was, I can't remember who, and it's called the headache per euro theory. So it's like, you have clients that cause a lot of headache, but you don't make a lot of money, right? So the thing is, you want it to be the other way around. You want a lot of money, less headache, right? So how do you create the headache per euro theory in sense in full effect? So you look at what's causing me a lot of headache and which clients, but what is the client getting? So a client is, for example, I want, let's say affiliate marketing as an easy example. Main thing with affiliate marketing, they're looking for right affiliates. What's causing them a lot of headache? Planning for conferences, sending people to the team, building the booth, or a lot of these little things, which is causing a lot of headache and less return. So it's more like, how are you able to help companies in general to create less headache for them so they make more money? And once that happens, it's the same thing for you. So you always want to be, let's say, in a tier, like, I drew it somewhere, where you also, for yourself and your business, headache per euro. You want to have as less headache as possible, make as much as possible. And that's actually for me one of the things where I cut off a lot of clients, even people that I work. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to work with these people anymore because I'm making only 4 grand a month of this client and he's causing me so much fucking stress and headache. I'm busy 10, 20 hours a week with this one client, whereas I have this other client, he's paying me a little bit less, but I'm only busy like 2 hours a week with them. So it's a super easy example, like how even I'm now make decisions in life. Basically, I've been telling everybody about this theory because I don't know, I can't remember. I heard it someone like, man, it's a brilliant theory because it makes sense.
I love that. It's really great. So the euro per headache,
No headache per euro, or I think this guy
headache per
even said
euro.
like headache per dollar.
It's
But
really
we
it's
live in
really
Europe, so
it's really good. And this especially applies to all the service businesses, right? I mean, you have been running a successful agency business. Um, I've
for
created a
3 years
couple.
actually, yeah. And then I was done with it, and then I continued with the Philly Business Club, and then also investing heavily in Web3 and tech projects lately now, which is the same thing where we're getting all this knowledge. We're actually launching a token with this project at the end of this month, and I can just see like, hey guys, there's so many clients causing a lot of headache. Let's
Yeah,
stop because it's giving us stress as a team,
exactly,
which is
exactly.
bad, you know.
And that's one of the things, right, that I think people don't discuss enough, which is that being an entrepreneur can be extremely tough, right? We haven't talked about this side of entrepreneurship, but obviously it can be a lot of shit that you have to wade through, right? But you can also really make it a lot easier on yourself, right? And approach entrepreneurship in a different way. And I think this concept is amazing for making your life as an entrepreneur a lot better.
At least
So,
the decision making process, it makes things easier, you know.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
And the thing is,
as
it's also
go
like,
ahead.
you know, when you're broke back in the days or whatever, you know you need to have a lot of headache because you don't have much euros, you know. But along the way, when you're making more money, it's like you want less headache because that's when you start outsourcing, building a
Yeah.
team, etc. So everyone goes through these phases. But I'll look it up where I read it or who said it, and because it's someone we know, but I forgot the name.
All right. I love it. No matter who came up with it, thank you very much. We appreciate you. We don't mean to steal that from you or copy
No,
without
copyright.
giving due
Sorry. Yeah,
respect. If you hear that, let us know if it's your concept or not. All right. I think we have to close this here. Thank you very much. I have one last question.
sure.
That is, out of your really big network, and
Yes.
guys, if you're watching this, Aki is super humble in the way he presents himself here. Probably doesn't even do respect to the stuff that you have built
Appreciate
in your
it.
life already. But one thing I
Yeah.
know about you is that you have a crazy big network of people who you stay in touch with.
Mhm.
If you could name one or two, who should we bring on this podcast?
One of my favorite people that and, we used to spend some time together in Dubai together is actually Alex Miko. Very, you know him, Alex Miko. Also, I have another guy I work with.
Let me say that here because it's this. There is a lot of miracles in life, but nothing really happens by chance. He texted me today at literally like 1 hour ago. He texted me and says, yes, let's do it when I'm back in Europe and at home. This is when he's going to be on the show.
Perfect.
We have a wait list until July now, but I hope
Insane.
he's back by then.
And
Okay.
I'll get to other people that I personally work with, and you don't know them personally, but one of the guys is called Arash Amini. We run a investment company. We started this a couple months ago together. We used to work 9 years ago for the same sales company. We didn't see each other for 8 years. Last year in Dubai, he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, I see you living in Dubai now." I'm like, "Yeah, that's true, man." He's like, "Bro, I'm here. Bro, I didn't see you for so long, you know." And we're actually running a lot of our crypto projects together, a mining farm, and we invest in some platforms together. He opened my mind in of investing, bro. He launched more than 15 or 20 IPOs or something. I don't know the exact number.
Whoa.
He invested in it, and it shows like, bro, he made bank. But besides making bank, it's the fact that he he literally opened my mind and my brain and my vision in, hey man, bro, Aki, if you do this and this and this in investing, bro, 10, 20x quick, it's possible. And I never understood or how, but I was having this conversation with Alex. I said to him, you know, he's like, Aki, but last year things did blah blah. I'm like, yeah, but things can go quick, you know, like You just talk to the right people, meet the right people, have the right conversations, and things can go quick. Um,
Thank you very much.
and
I
then
actually, I think I'll. No, you wanted to say something else.
yeah,
You
and
keep
another
going with
guy.
this one.
Yeah, so the last person actually is the last person. I have many more people, but is Brett Forzat. It's one of the companies we invested in, me and Arash together, and we became partner in. So we're actually also putting time weekly in this company. They're launching a new NFT platform for artists, and they're already doing like big musea in Amsterdam and also like festivals and stuff. So his vision 3 years ago, he told me about thinking of launching this product, and I'm like, okay, let me know when to invest. No one believes in him. He's like, This dude's crazy." But then eventually, bro, now it's taking off like crazy. So that's actually a project where the token's gonna launch at the end of the month. But it's more that I love the way that he kept going. So he had the COO of Tesla Invest and the CTO of Gorilla. So he's got like some big crazy names that invested in him. But for me, it's like a visionary has to be crazy sometimes, right? Because this is what we're talking about. If you're vibrating on a level of frequency, you're seeing something what people cannot see, but you're seeing it because you're vibrating on this level of frequency, and people aren't vibrating here, so they don't see what you see. It's like Elon Musk. Like I saw this video. One day he wants to go to Mars, then build a tube, then Tesla. Like this guy is vibrating on a whole different level than we are.
True.
Same with Brett and Arash. For me, it's like these two people. I learn a lot, but I know we can talk for hours more, and I can promote more people. But I value these three people because I love them as people, as their characteristics, as their characters, and whatever they're doing in life, how they look at life is more important for me than what they're doing in business.
Very strong. Thank you very much. I appreciate you bringing those two guys up. I hope they join us here on the show. I think we can all learn a lot from them. The way that they're vibrating, how they live, why they do stuff,
Frequency, yeah,
their
yeah.
frequency, and yeah, also what they recommend us to do as entrepreneurs who are pushing the limits, moving forward, and yeah, trying to make things happen here in this world. Last but not least, I want to show you a comment here. Look at this.
I saw Fabian. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. It should be actually. I'm gonna look it up where I heard it because it's not my theory, so I don't want to claim the rights. So don't claim. But
Oh no,
I did change the dollar to the euro sign. I've been telling everybody about this. But every conversation I have is like, "Yo, bro, I have this new theory." I was like, "Bro, this is insane. It's true, Because
it is. It is
less
very
headache.
true. It's very true. I'll meditate over this tonight. All right, Aki, we have to stop here. I think this should be like a 20-minute
Yes.
format. We spent 33 minutes together. It
Apologies.
was worth every single second. So much. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us here as our very first guest on Entrepreneurs Life. I hope to see you in person live very soon. And until then, reach out anytime if I can do anything for you. Thank you so
I
much.
will. Thank you. And thank you for putting on the show and putting on the effort because I know it's not easy. But keep doing what you're doing because you're an awesome human being and I love you a lot, bro. So I hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much, Aki.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah.